Hey guys, today I am reacting to Geography Now, Morocco. Should be interesting. Morocco is a North African country. It's it's all the way in the west. It borders I think it borders the Mediterranean and Atlantic Ocean and Mediterranean Sea. And, it's a Mediterranean country with a long history. North African, Berber, and it was a bit Arabized, and then, colonization, Spanish and French influences, a lot of things, interesting. Let's get into the video.
Morocco! It's not a Latin country. You're thinking Maracas. It's in the Arab world.
I was not thinking of a Latin country. Well, I mean, it is in a way a Latin country, but not a Latin American. It's not Latin American, of course.
World, but it's not really Arab much. It's in Africa, and not the Middle East, but it borders Spain, literally, like 3 times. This is gonna be a fun one.
I mean, a lot of North African countries are sort of Arabized, yeah. I mean, Egypt is pretty much counted as an Arab country, But, like, the other countries in North Africa were sort of, Arabized in a way. But they still have, their own native traditions, of course.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbs. Most of you may have at least heard of the country Morocco. So many iconic images of Casablanca, the markets of Marrakesh, couscous,
awesome.
And fez hats!
Oh yeah, couscous and fez hats, of course.
Well, they did not originate here, but they totally made it popular. There's a lot going on and a lot of stuff to cover, so let's just find this place on the map first, shall we?
I think fez hats also pretty, like, Turkish and Egyptian as well.
For Morocco, they have their own interesting way of doing things, and you kind of have that West Coast Arab vibe. They're kind of like the California of the Arab world, I guess you could say. Oddly enough, they also kind of have the same size and population of California. Anyway, the country is located in the North African region known as the Maghreb. It straddles the Atlantic Ocean to the west and the Mediterranean to the northeast, with a narrow 8-mile wide or 13-kilometer corridor between them and the tip of Spain, known as the Strait of Gibraltar. Even though Gibraltar, an overseas territory of the UK, is here, and the actual closest tip of Spain is here on the town and island of Tarifa. They are bordered by Algeria to the east, and we'll talk about these things in a sec. It's a tricky subject. The country is divided into 12 regions, 3 of which are locked in areas with a confusing dispute, and the capital, Rabat, located along the West Atlantic coast. The largest city, Casablanca, is just a skip away, whereas the next largest cities are Fez, closer inland, while Tangier and Marrakesh have almost identical populations and sometimes switch.
I've heard of Fez, Rabat, and Marrakesh. And I've heard of Tangier as well. But I didn't know it was a city, though. Interesting. And of course, Casablanca.
Off for 3rd place. Of course, the busiest airport is Casablanca's Mohammed V International. However, the next busiest are actually Marrakesh and Agadir, both incredibly popular destinations for business and tourism. Now let's get into the good stuff. You guys know how much I love territorial anomalies, and Morocco is loaded with them. First off, context! Morocco has gone through a lot of sovereignty switches. Historically, they were a French protectorate, and parts of it were colonized by the Spanish. United Nations labels this area as the largest and most populous non-self-governing territory in the world, and in a nutshell, it kind of went like this.
Okay guys, I'm leaving. It seems like you guys are the ones that want this land the most, so I'll let you guys figure it out.
Sweet.
See ya.
It's mine.
It's mine.
No, it's mine.
What are you talking about?
No, dude, it's mine.
It's mine! Basically, there was a war between all 3 sides. Mauritania eventually stepped down, but Morocco kept going. And to this day, about 80% of the land, starting at around the 27th parallel, including almost the entire coast and most of the resources, with a sizable offshore oil deposit, is de facto run by Morocco. Out of the 500,000 residents in this area, only about a 5th live in the Polisario claimed areas, and about 40% alone live in the Moroccan-run city of Laayoune, or El Ayoun. If you move inland, though, you reach the Sand Berm, a militarized wall in the middle of the sands that separates the SADR separatists from the rest of Morocco. Here you reach the last and probably most intense Moroccan outpost, Gergera, which sits right on the berm wall. And from there, the map literally says no man's land, until you reach the very tip of the Nouadhibou Peninsula that we talked about in the Mauritania episode.
Kind of reminds me of Baja California, with that peninsula there.
And it has an abandoned town called La Guera at the very tip. This is technically the only coastal land that the Polisario Front has in their territorial claim. However, they don't really use it much because most of their imports come in from Mauritania or Algeria. Their headquarters is located in the town of Tindouf. Plus, Morocco is kind of keeping a very close eye on making sure that they don't try anything funny with access to the ocean. If you want to visit Western Sahara, though, you can pretty much only enter from Morocco, and even then, it might get closed off during times of tension. Whereas entrance to the Polisario Front claimed territory is almost almost impossible to any outsiders. To this day, about 40 countries have diplomatic relations with the SADR. No nation fully recognizes Morocco's full sovereignty over the entire area. However, many do support the idea of Morocco annexing the area as an autonomous self-governing region under the Kingdom of Morocco. And if that wasn't enough, say hello to Spain's little friends. If you go up north on the Mediterranean, you'll find the Plazas de Soberanía. These are like the last and final remnants of the Spanish Empire in northern Africa scattered along the coast. According to international law, the legality of these areas fall under Spain, as scholars have been able to defend the claim that the modern state of Morocco was founded after these areas were already constitutionally part of Spain, even though Morocco was like,
That's mine.
Really? I mean, this button is literally attached to my shirt.
It's still my button, though.
the two largest entities being the cities of Ceuta, closer to Spain in the west, with a population of about 82,000, and Melilla, a little further east, with a population of about
That's a bit annoying, but okay.
80,000, and it has its own airport. In addition, you have the 3 Alhucemas Islands, the 3 Chafarinas Islands, and finally, Peñón de Vélez de la Gomera, an incredibly small military outpost only connected by an 85-meter wide sandy isthmus, making it the world's shortest international land border. In addition, 2 more islands fall under disputed territory. There's Isla Perejil, Nube Island, and Isla de Alboran. Whew! Otherwise, I
Seems like a lot of these should just go to Morocco, but okay.
asked you guys, the Moroccan geography peeps, to give us a
Although, I mean, I guess Spain might be a bit more developed.
list of some of the coolest notable sites of Morocco. Some of the stuff you guys mentioned were Badi Castle, the blue city of Chefchaouen,
Alright, that's beautiful. And that's beautiful as well.
Jardin
Man,
Majorelle, Mohammed V Mausoleum, the Hercules Cave, Ibn
that is cool, that cave.
Danan Synagogue,
Ibn Danan Synagogue, one of the last Jewish buildings in Morocco.
the gates of Fez, and Fez
That's
disputedly has the largest car-free urban zone. These ruins of a Roman city, the castle of
Damn.
Meknes, this university, which is
Bruh, supposedly the oldest in the world, epic. Yeah, I've heard about that, it's freaking epic. It looks so cool too.
like the oldest in the world, the Meronid tombs, and of course, Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca, the 7th largest mosque in the world, and it has the highest minaret in the world. And speaking of things that have height, Morocco
That's
has some
beautiful.
amazing mountains, which brings us to... Now, people tend to think that northern Africa is all sand, but when you head
Oh,
west...
it's not. It's definitely not all sand. I mean, there's probably mountainous regions like you mentioned, and the Mediterranean probably has more green. Yeah, and maybe some forest-like areas as well.
west, they have more rocks in Morocco. Man, I haven't done a slap gig in a long time. Thank you, Hannah. First of all, the country lies right on the boundary where the African plate meets the Eurasian plate, with the Atlas thrust fault lines cutting through the country just at the very northern tip at the Rift Mountains. This also creates the other 3 mountain chains, the Middle Atlas, the Anti-Atlas, and the High Atlas, where the tallest peak and tallest in North Africa can be found, Toubkal. Also, you can find the largest lake, the Bin El Ouidan Reservoir, and the source of the longest river, the Dra River, which flows all the way into the Atlantic. If you include Western Sahara down south, you get more dry and empty vast desert land with a decent mineral deposit used for mining. Basically, the coastal areas north of the mountains where the majority of the population lives are of course flatter and arable with more lush vegetation. Sometimes it even snows in the high altitudes. Morocco even has
nice.
the largest ski resort in Africa, whereas
I mean, if I had to live in like that area, I'd probably live in the high elevation area just because I like cooler temperature.
everything south of that is pretty much dry, rocky, and hot. Alright, and that's that. Now it's time for my triple shot of espresso break like usual, which means Noah comes in.
Did somebody say Noah? Now, despite the arid terrain, Morocco actually has quite a comfortable set of natural resources. About 18% of the land is arable and about 12% of the country is forested. The country also has a wide range of biodiversity. Many are endemic like gazelles, boars, and fennec foxes, over 90 species of reptiles, and macaque monkeys. And yes, you may have seen the pictures of those tree-climbing goats. Yep, they do exist. They are found here as
Damn.
well, mostly in the town of Tamri. Unfortunately, due to illegal animal trade and human intervention, much of the species are disappearing, and some, like the national symbol of Morocco, the Barbary lion, have gone extinct in the area. The last one was seen
really
in
sad.
1922. Otherwise, Morocco is the 5th largest economy in Africa by GDP per person parity. Service industry jobs, mostly in mining, take the largest chunk of the workforce. I mean, they do hold about 75% of the world's known phosphorus mines. Nonetheless, they are still a heavily agrarian dependent nation, as the sector employs about 40% of the populace. It is said that Morocco has the largest fish market in Africa, taking about 3% of their entire GDP, and they are the largest exporter of sardines in the world. Finally, finally, little interesting side note, even though it's illegal to smoke it, they are the top exporter of legally grown cannabis in the world, sold in the form of hashish. On average, they produce about 70% of Europe's imports. Speaking of resources, food. Some top dishes you guys, the Moroccan geography peeps mentioned, include things like anything cooked in a tangine pot, rafista, harira soup, pastilla, sefa, ruzia, mashui, and of course the national
Looks delicious, yeah.
dish of couscous. Everyone knows this one. And sweets like these amazing
Oh, looks delicious.
things. And finally, you cannot go around Morocco without stumbling upon their favorite drink, mint tea. Oh, and Morocco is pretty much the only country that produces and exports argan oil. It is used in a variety of ways, sometimes in food, sometimes in cosmetics, or hair products.
It's pretty much the only thing that controls my hair.
And speaking of things with hair, people, let's get to it, shall we?
That was a good transition, wasn't it? People, because people have hair. Yeah.
I get it. I mean, you wrote it.
Yeah.
So,
And you said it good. In the Arab world, Morocco is kind of seen as like the strange cousin that got brought into the family by marriage. Most Moroccans probably wouldn't even identify as Arab. Let's explain. First of all, the country has about 36 million people and has the largest native Berber Amazigh community in all of Africa. It's
That's pretty epic, yeah, indigenous.
hard to get exact estimates, but the censuses say that somewhere around 41 to 80% of the entire population has Berber Amazigh ancestry, whether it be full or partial, whereas 90% are non-Berber identifying Arabs. The remaining 1% are made up of other groups, mostly French and Spanish, as well as West African immigrants. They use the Moroccan dirham as their currency, they use the type C and E plug outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. And on that note, what is Berber/Amazigh? Now, we've talked about this in quite a few other videos before, but basically, in a nutshell, they are the native indigenous semi-nomadic peoples that have inhabited various regions of North Africa prior to Arab conquests. They have a completely different story and background from Arabs. They have their own traditions, customs, art, clothing, and language. Today, Berber/Amazigh is an official language alongside Arabic in both Morocco and Algeria, and it can be written in both the Latin and Neo-Tifina script, which looks awesome. It looks like dancing people, and you can find it on street signs and billboards all over. That being said,
Pretty
most
cool.
metropolitan
Although Latin script might be easier.
Moroccans are trilingual, growing up with both languages and a European one as a third, mostly French. They were a French protectorate at one point. Keith, if I asked you to ask all the Arabs around the world which country they probably think has the weirdest dialect, which one do you think they'd say?
I'm just gonna say Morocco.
Well, considering I think this is the Moroccan episode we're on, right? So I'm gonna go with Moroccan.
Yep.
Is that all you need me for?
Yeah, I mean, you just need more screen time because the subscribers love you.
All right, well, I'm gonna go awkwardly dance in the back, so I will...
I don't see why not. Moroccans speak Arabic with a distinct dialect known as Darija, very hard to understand from a standard speaker, and some say it could even be classified as its own language. Much of it is influenced off of Berber/Amazigh. For example, here's one of our subscribers from Morocco explaining.
So, hello, I am Ali from Tangier, Morocco, and I'm going to tell you the difference between Arabic and Moroccan dialect. Like, I am going to that place near the market. In Arabic it would be like سأذهب لذلك المكان بجوار المحل. But in Moroccan dialect it is
Let's listen to the difference, yeah.
something just like أنا أنشل ديك البلاصة حدا الحانوت.
Wow. On
That's pretty different.
another note, Morocco is also a monarchy, a kingdom ruled under Muhammad VI, claiming to be a direct descendant of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. He belongs to the Alawite dynasty, the second oldest ruling dynasty in the world after Japan's Yamato imperial family.
That's
the
pretty
country's
cool.
state religion is Islam. The vast majority, at about 99%, identify as adhering to the faith, mostly in the Sunni branch, and the remainder are mostly Christians and a small Jewish community. Speaking of which, Morocco used to have the largest Jewish population in the Arab world, some estimates claiming to be up to 350,000. After war times of the 20th century, though, nearly all of them either fled or were expelled, most heading to Israel, and today Moroccan Jews make up the second largest Jewish ethnic subgroup in Israel, and today less than 3,000 remain in Morocco. Culturally speaking, Moroccans have a very vibrant background, most of which being Berber Amazigh influenced. Keep in mind though, there are many different types of Berber Amazigh peoples and tribes. Some are light-skinned, some are dark-skinned, some have different customs, but overall, there are some universal traits that they all kind of share. You know what, Hannah? Come on in, just take this one. You know, why not? Cool.
Okay. Prior to the spread of Islam, most Berber/Amazigh were traditionally animists that practiced things like ancestor veneration. Facial and body tattoos were common a long time ago amongst women, with each image symbolizing something important, but the practice has been dying out since the 1940s, and today you can only find it mostly amongst the elderly. The national dress for both men and women, a unisex garb, is called jalaba, a long, loose hooded garment which serves to keep the person warm but also protected from the sun. Moroccan architecture and literature architecture is unique in itself. The high-walled dar structure is
That's
common
beautiful.
to help ward off thieves and animals while minimizing heat. Metalwork, textiles, and pottery are of course world-renowned. Much of the traditional music incorporates a fusion of Arab and Berber/Amazigh undertones, with a touch of French and maybe Andalusian Spanish.
Well, Andalusian Spanish is really influenced by Berbers, by Morocco.
This list is getting pretty long. Ken, what else do we have to cover?
Let's see. There's the fortune teller thing, the hammam bathhouse, the Riff Independence thing, the weird dentist where you could find in the marketplace.
We don't have time. Let's just save it for Fan Friday. Thank you, Hannah. I'll do the history part now. For Morocco's history, in the quickest way I can condense it: the state of Carthage, independent Berber kingdoms, Roman Empire, Muslim conquests, Berber revolt, first Moroccan state under this dynasty. These dynasties come in, which are responsible for Muslim Spain. Reconquista occurs. These dynasties. Finally, the Alawite dynasty, which is the current one. First Moroccan
Epic coat of arms /
crisis, the Treaty of Fez, independence, Green March, Arab Spring, and here we are today. I asked you guys, the Moroccan geography peeps, for a list of some famous Moroccans, whether they are partial or fully Moroccan. Some people you mentioned were historical figures like Ibn Rushd or Averroes, Ibn Tashfin, Ibn Battuta, Princess Dia, Tariq Ibn Ziyad. Contemporaries like Samira Said, Saad Lamjared, Badr Hari, Marian Shadid, Mehdi Banatia, Otman Benjaloun, Gad Elemale, Red One, French Montana, Edith Piaf. Yeah, she was part Moroccan. Technically kind of David Guetta.
I've heard David Guetta might have been like part Moroccan, yeah. I think he's like half Moroccan or something like that.
Hicham Gerouj, and of course the Moroccan royal family. Whew, yeah, Morocco has quite a lot of interesting people and backstory. No wonder why they have such a unique set of friends. See what I did there? It's a transition into the... Now, Morocco's proximity to Europe and access to the Atlantic has always meant that they had way more exposure to the Western world than most of their cousins, which has played a crucial role in their diplomacy. For one, they were the first country in the world to recognize the USA as a country. Yeah.
Epic. Man.
Morocco. During the revolution times, Sultan Mohammed III in 1777 said any American merchant ship in his trade routes were under his protection. And in 1786, they signed the Moroccan-American Treaty of Friendship, which is actually the oldest friendship treaty in the USA. With Spain...
I've always heard, yeah, Morocco's like this is like the oldest friend of the US, like they recognized us first or something.
It's kind of like a love-hate relationship, as they do great business and have history, but there's always the exclave thing. Saudi Arabia is like a close friend that typically supports and funds many projects and deals in Morocco. Morocco sent troops to help Saudi Arabia during the Gulf War, and the two kings get along pretty well. When it comes to their best friends, however, it's interesting because most Moroccans I have talked to have actually said France. Despite the past colonial issues, they've moved on, and France does the most business with Morocco. French is widely spoken. Both countries' peoples are always visiting or moving to each other. France has the highest Moroccan population outside of Morocco, and today they work together beautifully. In conclusion, Morocco is kind of like the uncle that married into the Arab family. It's probably one of the most beautiful places to visit in the Arab world, but maybe not the best place to learn what it truly means to be Arabic. Stay tuned, Mozambique is coming up next.
Let's check out the Flag/Fan Friday.
Flag/Fan Friday. Hope you like the Morocco episode. So as you know, there's the part where I kind of fix the small mistakes in the video, or I talk about things that didn't quite make it into the video. For one, Red One is Moroccan in Swedish, not Dutch. And Princess Dia was actually born and died in Algeria, but I guess she's more of like a notable Berber/Amazigh person, so like a lot of Moroccans kind of feel close to her, but she's not Moroccan. I didn't get to mention how so many movies were filmed in Morocco, and Atlas Studios is kind of like the Hollywood of North Africa. Morocco also produces tuya wood, which is like one of the rarest and most expensive woods in the world. It's typically used on dashboards for Rolls-Royce cars. The Rif region of Morocco had an independence thing for 5 years. That's a whole other story. A weird thing, you can find kind of like underground discount dentists in a lot of the markets of Morocco. It's like it's not a very heavily regulated industry, so you see these guys just kind of like sitting. It's like they kind of have like a little booth set up with dentures and false teeth. And also I forgot to mention that you can find sehiras, or like witches/fortune tellers. They sell like special potions and ingredients to make magic.
I wouldn't exactly trust it, but it's interesting.
Morocco has also opened up the fastest train in Africa. It's kind of funny because for the longest time, Morocco was actually not part of the African Union because they admitted the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. However, just in 2017, they rejoined. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other things I didn't talk about, but we gotta move on. So, to the flag. Oh man, I had so much fun with Morocco, like those territorial anomalies, those cities that belong to Spain, and the whole Sahrawi Polisario thing. So many crazy things going on. But anyway, the flag. The flag is a red banner with an interlaced green pentacle star in the middle. The red was adopted as it was the color that symbolized the royal Alawite dynasty, claiming to be descended from the Islamic prophet Muhammad. It is also the color that many sharifs, or leaders of Mecca, and imams of Yemen used, and some may even say it stands for valor, bravery, and strength. In the middle, of course, lies the interlaced green pentacle star, being green, a traditional color of Islam, with 5 points standing for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as well as the 5 pillars of Islam. Now, of course, keep in mind, throughout history, they've had quite a few other
It's not a bad flag, but it's not the greatest flag either. I'll say that. At least it's not a tricolor though.
flags, whether as a whole nation or in split units. For over 40 years, when they were under the French and
Those flags are even worse. No. Although, this flag right over here is not terrible, but still.
Spanish, they used these flags. Tangier was
Okay. That's kind of a nice flag. But maybe if you just had this coat of arms and not the star on it. In the middle.
kind of like an autonomous international zone thing, and they used this flag. During those 5
That's not a bad flag either.
independence of Rif years, they used this flag. And throughout most of the 19th
I like that flag, but...
century, they used this flag. When the Alawite dynasty came in, they actually just used a plain red flag. And prior to that, there were
I like the checker mark, but I really like this one with the star in the middle and this gold. It's really awesome.
a bunch of other dynasties that had their own flags.
The
So that's
Marinid
pretty
flag.
much it.
I wish they had this coat of arms on the flag, though. That'd be amazing, because this coat of arms looks so cool.
Now, the coat of arms. The image is the symbol of the ruling Alawite dynasty, and it contains a shield with a green pentacle star in front of a red background, held before these diamond things that are supposed to symbolize the Atlas Mountains, all with a rising sun behind it. On top lies the royal crown for the ruling family. On the sides, 2 Barbary lions hold the shield, and finally, on the
Too bad they went extinct.
ribbon underneath, in Arabic, the inscription quotes the Quran, saying, "If you glorify God, He will glorify you." Keep in mind,
Maybe they should have some Amazic or Berber script. might be cool as well.
this coat of arms was re-adopted in 1957 after independence. However, the image actually goes all the way back to the first sultan of the Alawite dynasty in the 17th century. And since then, over 30 sultans and 3 kings have come to power. And prior to the Alawite dynasty, they never really had a coat of arms. I mean, they just kind of used the flags as national symbols. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Cool. You know what time it is then. It's time for geography.
Alright, that was really fun. I mean, Morocco is an epic country, I will say. And hopefully we continue to be friends with hopefully Morocco continues to be friends with the US. Let's check out some of the comments. This was a fun episode to make. Morocco has such a wide range of fascinating yet unique traits unlike any other nation. Thanks to all you Moroccan geographers that helped. Enjoy. Fun fact. Japanese means sunrise, and Morocco in Arabic means sunset. That's pretty damn cool. Mexican, yeah, would love to visit Morocco. Same, I'd love to visit. We might have fought a lot throughout history, but we love you guys. Love from Portugal. I'm from Malaysia, and I love Morocco. Love Morocco from Turkey. Love Morocco from Senegal. Love Morocco from the Philippines. Morocco has such an amazing country, and they even help us out during our war for independence, and is one of our oldest allies. Thank you, my friend. Much love from the USA. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Morocco, USA, yeah. You are amazing. Yeah, okay. As a Ghanaian living in Morocco, Marrakesh, I would say Morocco is the best. Love from Ghana. I'm Moroccan, and I just discovered new things about Morocco in this video. That's good, yeah. I want to visit Morocco. Mexican American here from USA. Love to Morocco from America. Yeah. I thought I should learn about Morocco's history since it was the first country to recognize our independence and is one of our allies. Yes, it would be nice, and I'm glad my origin, Morocco, recognized independence of the first country in the world. And, okay, this is a bit hard to read. We Moroccans love the US. we Americans love Morocco. Moroccan food is usually quite popular, at least where I am. Western Sahara is part of Morocco. You know, yeah, Moroccan food ain't bad, and I've had it, you know, like couscous and such, you know, it's good. And, you know, anything cooked in the tagine, right? Good luck, because it's quite a long and complicated history, hello. I've been to Morocco. It's a really beautiful country that is diverse in culture and history. I would love to go. When Morocco recognized the independence of the United States, the Moroccan Empire was bigger than it. Was it? Huh. Also, with the Mercator projection, Morocco is a bit bigger than it looks on a map. Morocco is on the travel list from California. Love Morocco from USA. Yeah. This is a really fun video though, honestly. Morocco's such a cool country. Any Moroccans watching, please like this video and subscribe and comment down below with your thoughts. Anybody else watching, I really appreciate it, you know. And yeah, please like this video and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.